Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. This is a book that's dated, 1968, 1969. And what it means by naked is that it's laid bare before the world. He had written an earlier book about the naked communist. It's got really good things in this. This is basically just an overview of Carroll Quigley's book, Tragedy and Hope. Now, Carroll Quigley, he was a professor at Georgetown for a long time. I remember seeing part of one of Bill Clinton, I think it was his 1996 inaugural speech, and he said, as my professor at Georgetown said, Carroll Quigley, to make our todays better than our yesterdays and our tomorrows better than todays. Quigley went on to write The Anglo-American Establishment. Quigley was part of the establishment. He said he was privileged for a couple years to examine its secret records, and the book Tragedy and Hope, which this is like an excerpt from, he said, the tragedy is people won't follow the international bankers in the establishment, but the hope is it's too far along that nobody can do anything about it anyhow. Now, we know as Christians we're serving Jesus Christ. The only reason I read stuff like this, see how it fits into Revelation and prophecy, if there's anything that has to do with that. Now, who was Cleon Skousen? I know his son Mark builds, like, for millionaires, survival shelters, like mansion survival shelters, and he's real big into that. Okay, Cleon Skousen's background includes 16 years with the FBI, 4 years as chief of police of Salt Lake City, 10 years as the editorial director of the nation's leading police magazine, Law and Order, and 7 years as a university professor. He's got an LLB in law from George Washington University in Washington, D.C., and was admitted to practice law in the District of Columbia. So he also was on nationwide television talking against communism one time, if I remember correctly. And so it was from coast to coast. I think it was a big thing in the Hollywood Bowl or something. So this is a great book. If you don't want to wade through all 1,300 pages of Tragedy and Hope, you can get this. It's got fascinating things, pictures of its major players. One of the cool things I really liked towards the back of this book was he had a deal from one of the former people running for president in the United States, and he used to be a Democrat, and then he became a Republican or conservative because he was like, well, the Democratic Party left me. Yeah, here it is. The Betrayal of the Democratic Party by Alfred E. Al Smith. He goes into what the 32 platform of the Democratic Party said, but what really happened. And that's just very good. This was but the whole book, I just enjoyed reading it. And, it's just history. And I enjoy history. And then socialist Norman Thomas claims great victories for socialism under both Democrats and Republicans. So, and that's true. The Republicans are running up the national debt just like the Democrats are, and it's all leading to socialism and big government and these type things. And somebody said that Americans would never knowingly accept socialism, but it'll come cloaked in an American flag with patriotic slogans. We're seeing it happen. Keep living for Jesus. Keep praying for our country. God's got good things.